We have some breaking news. It looks like the judge, the panel of judges, has actually done Donald Trump a little bit of a favor here.
I would say it's a favor. I don't know if it's the right way of stating it, but a massive decrease in the amount of money he needed to come up with. If you remember, it was $464 million. He claimed he could not come up with that amount for a bond, went to court, tried to overturn that, and they have reduced it significantly to $175 million. So over a 60% reduction in that number. Now, of course, $175 million to my taste is still excessive and ridiculous for what's gone on here.
Completely excessive and ridiculous. Nothing ever like this.
No. And as we've noted many, many times, I did a whole show on this on Studios America, where you go through the ways this rule has been used historically, and there are no parallels at all to what has happened with Donald Trump. It is quite clearly and quite obviously a political persecution, whether you like Trump or not. And so, but this is a big difference because he can probably come up with $175 million instead of the 464. So a huge deal, a massive victory for Donald Trump in this case. And I'm curious to see, because Letitia James has gone through the ritual of posting over and over again the amount owed by Donald Trump, like bragging about it, because it keeps going up, as Andy McCarthy mentioned. Well, it was $100 and some odd thousand a day. And she just keeps mentioning. I wonder if she'll continue that process now that it's gone down by over 60%. We will see, because she's been bragging about this for weeks and weeks, and now takes a massive hit, and I think a blatantly obvious one, right? Like, I think anyone who looks at this fairly can tell this was ridiculous from the beginning, and now a big slap in the face for this original ruling.
I'm wondering if he could come up with the 171.
I would think so. He claimed in one filing to have $400 million in cash. Now, he had to come up with a bond for the E. Jean Carroll thing, which was 90-something million, which would suck some of that out. Whether he could do it probably all himself. However, when you have that sort of money, you can also, when you have that sort of cash laying around, you can usually get someone to loan you that with the cash as collateral very easily. So regardless of the process he goes through, you'd think he'd be able to get this again. And
if you can find a bank.
Yeah. Although, this, I'm of the view, and I've mentioned this before, this is just my own speculation, is that Donald Trump could have come up with the $464 million. He correctly argues that that is completely unfair. And I think, given time, he could come up with that sort of money. But why not play this out? Why not push this as far as you can? It's going to take a long time until they actually start seizing property, as Andy laid out a little bit earlier. And, why not use that time to the best of your ability to fight this off? Because I think he's very likely to win. I think he's very likely to win in an appeal, or at least have this reduced to, maybe $1 fine or $10,000 fine, or something that would be somewhat aligned with reality. I think eventually he probably wins this, so the longer he can play this out without having to give up resources, the better.
The one thing that is good from all of this, and I try to look at the bright side on everything as much as I can, and I can usually never find it because that bright side has been snuffed out long ago in my life. Anyway,
wow.
The bright side on this, in some ways, is I don't think people really understood what it was like back in the Jim Crow days. I don't think white people really understood what it was like, where there's not a chance you're getting a fair trial. Not a chance. And kids, don't trust the police. We don't understand that. And now this injustice is being served on so many Americans, from the FBI to the Justice Department to the court system in Donald Trump's case. And it does give you a view on how important justice is, the kind of justice that many of us have taken for granted our whole lives. That's all right. The courts will figure it out.
And how many times have we said lately that the courts are the only thing standing between us and chaos? They've been probably the shining, light when it comes to justice lately, as we've seen in the Supreme Court multiple times, to think of where this is going and how close we are to that that precipice is really, I mean, we really are on the precipice of disaster when it comes to this. I am glad to see, though, that at least there's something, like, even in these cases, even with someone who, like Donald Trump, who they're obviously trying to take out, the system does have a way of coming through at the end. And I think, it might need to go all the way to the Supreme Court, but it does seem to play out the right way a lot of times. And I don't know, maybe the system holds together. It doesn't feel like it's going to a lot, but it has so far.